Hi, this is Jay Hummel. Welcome to the deep dive in partnership with Investopedia. So excited today to have one of my really good friends. Before I introduce him, I will say that, and I'm going to keep the other five uh, confidentially because I don't want to create a problem. But I've met with thousands of advisors. There's only 6 advisors that I would ever give my money to, and Todd Battaglia is one of them. And so I finally talked him into coming on the show. So welcome to the show, Todd Battaglia. Thank you, Todd, for being on the show.
Jay, it's been many years. Thank you for those wonderful comments. It's exciting to see everything you guys are working on. I've watched a lot of your podcasts, are extremely informative, and I'm really happy to be part of this one with you today.
Well, it's awesome. Obviously, you're the CEO of MGNA Wealth. Just give the listeners a little bit of history on you and on what MGNA is up to, and then you and I will get to the real content.
Well, I started my career, 35 years ago as a money manager. I helped build investment platforms back in the day with older firms, smaller firms that eventually got acquired. I've gone through all the different types of systems one could imagine, and then I joined Meg Green and Associates in 1999, and a firm that was started in 1984, and joined Meg to be your partner and lead this firm to the next level of independence. And that's what we've done. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year. And Meg's now been retired for about 10 years. And we have a team of 12 working for about 350 client families. And we're responsible for about 1.2 billion in assets for those families. So we're having a great time. We're enjoying it. We've maintained our independence throughout that time frame. So I think it's a very exciting time for our firm. And it's very exciting to be a CEO of such a firm. I'm very lucky.
No, you are, and you said 2 things, which is why I wanted you on the show. Which is you said about independence, right? Talk a little bit about, you and I first met. You were in a more captive environment. You decided you wanted to leave and go to a more independent environment. A lot of questions we get on the show is, yeah, I'm stuck in this captive environment as an advisor, and I want to go independent, but it's too scary. It's too hard. It's too complicated. You name the word. That's how you and I met the first time you left where you were to go more independent. Maybe you just walk through how you thought about that.
Well, it's interesting because, there's people use the word independence freely. And there's a lot of levels and degrees of independence. And when I joined Meg, we were in the AIG world of independence, and that's really a captive independent model, like most of them are today, to be honest. And when AIG is on everything, and the everything that you do is controlled by the big firm that you're connected to, you don't have a lot of independence. You don't choose models. You don't choose investment minimums. You don't choose technology stack.
You don't choose compliance. You don't choose compliance.
Exactly. All these choices. Yeah, sure, you're independent, but you're not truly independent. You're not building what Mark Diversion would call enterprise value. I was lucky enough in 2000 to have Moss Adams, led by Mark Diversion at the time, come in and sit down and say, you can make a lot of money, or you can make a lot of money and build a hell of a value in a firm. Which one do you want to do? And that was a very easy choice for me. And so we pursued a complete independent channel. Now, it took us time because we had to do some work. We were completely dependent on a captive model. So we had to really build our own internal investment expertise and capabilities. We had to find the right custodian and partners. We had to find the right tech stack, which I believe today is a lot harder than people realize because there's a lot of competition out there. But the issue I find is there's software and there's operating systems. And I'm finding even the giant mega RIAs are making the mistake of buying a software and not investing in an operating system. And I think that's a big differentiator today.
Well, and I would agree with that. And in full transparency, I helped found a company called LibertyFi, just so listeners know. And obviously, you selected that, and that's how we met a long time ago. Well, we met about 10 years before you did that. But I think that's a key point. Like, what's the difference when you think of, and then I want to go back to the breakaway conversation, but why we're on this topic is, what's the difference? You made a really key point. What's the difference between choosing technology and choosing an operating system? Because I don't think most people understand the difference.
So, if you're just choosing technology, it's a software that your team is managing. And your team has no experience managing, right? So when you first take that technology out of the box, it's new for every single person in that office. And there's no guidance and there's no leverage. When you take an operating system such as the one with Liberty Fi, we're engaged with experts that have been managing these systems for over a decade now. I think we're probably getting close to 15 years, some of the people in the experience that the folks at Liberty Five have. So you're partnering and you're engaging in somebody who's an agent in the system that can guide you through the back office and middle office issues. And they create enormous leverage with staffing capabilities. So, for instance, if you're using a tech stack that does fee billing, you need a fee billing department, right? You need someone to make sure you're billing the accounts and there's cash in the accounts, and that means there's a trading department as well. With the systems that we're able to utilize, and we spend a lot of time analyzing all the systems out there and have been very happy with what we chose, we have an operating system that does most of that for us. They do the billing for us. I mean, I look up and the money hits my account. That's as a wealth advisor that doesn't want to hire, extra 20 people to be doing a lot of these things. I get a lot of efficiencies and we get a lot of expertise in helping us manage what I think is the state of the art system in the business, which helps us grow tremendously.
Well, I think there's a lot of back office stuff there, but I think one of the things that I was excited to have you on the show is I still believe, it's been 8 years. I was working on it this week. It's been 8 years since we wrote the Essential Advisor book. And you were a part of that when we did that in 2016. I thought UMA, so Unified Managed Account, utilization would be higher than it is today. I was wrong on that back in 2016, but you've used a technology platform together with integration, together with UMA, to not only help your back office, but to also differentiate yourself with high net worth and ultra high net worth clients. So I get a lot of questions on UMA. I was just curious to see if you could talk to the viewers about that.
That's a great question because we had those questions too. So when we started down this road of true independence, where we're creating value in our own brand, we looked at ways of running portfolios, and APM, Advisors Portfolio Manager, UMA, a Unified Managed Account, those were in an SMA are the competing concepts. And we really wanted to be, in our mind, managing the portfolios. So we made the mistake, in my opinion, of going down the road of an APM model. Now, we went down the UM road at the same time, but
and again, Todd, we always use, and maybe not everybody knows, APM, Advisors Portfolio Manager, which means you trade, you do all the work.
Rebalancing, sure. And everything.
Yeah.
And so we got to a tipping point, if you will, where our advisor managed portfolios was weighing so heavily on our infrastructure. I just had an epiphany and I said, we're not doing this anymore. We can't scale internally, and we can't scale beyond these walls with tuck-ins and other mergers if we continue to run like this. So we completely converted everything over to UMA, and our trading department responsibilities went from, crazy hours to we can breathe again. We could actually scale again. We don't have trading errors. We have automatic rebalancing. We have the ability to manage the portfolios. We're not even getting into the fact that we can manage our portfolios way more effectively in a UMA strategy than we can in a advisor as portfolio manager strategy.
Well, and the tax documentation is so much easier, right, to the client. So it's
Well, for us,
I've loved what you've done there, because I think that's the future. I thought it was the future in 2016, so I was very wrong. Um, but I,
look, it's advisors we're a school of hard knocks, right? We learn by doing. But then when we figure it out, we can be very passionate. We can execute very effectively. And if I can give anyone advice, look seriously at what you're trying to achieve. I don't think a lot of these mega RIAs really considered some of these issues. And now they're running departments that are enormous and the efficiencies are atrocious. And they really didn't think about what all these early decisions meant down the road. And we spent a lot of time on these decisions. And I look as a mid-size RIA, I get calls all the time by these mega RIAs. I look at their operating and tech stack and I laugh. I go, I'm better than you. You need what I have.
yeah.
So,
Well, they should listen to you, to be honest with you. The last question, Todd, I ask every guest, because I'm lucky to have really smart people on the show like you, is what's the one thing that you think that the industry isn't paying enough attention to? Like, whether it's not talked about, whether we're ignoring it, what comes top of mind for you?
I just saw today that Morgan Stanley's releasing an AI assistant for their advisors. That looks pretty cool to me, right? You can actually sit in meetings, and there's a system out there that is part of the meeting that will be taking notes and follow-up steps to the meeting. So I do think there is a huge opportunity for AI in our business. I don't think it's replacing people. I just think, like any smart firm engaging in technology, we have to be open to these ideas. And again, being independent allows us to choose, right? We can choose, we can implement, and not have to wait and be a market lagger. So I think AI can be big. The other big trend I still think is the mega RIAs are having the difficulty of not only merging cultures, which I've always questioned, how do you merge all these cultures over time, but also merging tech stacks. I've talked to some of the industry leaders, and you have some firms out there with 90 partners with 90 different tech stacks. That's just never going to be efficient. So I think if you're a mid-level RIA, stay focused, keep doing what you're doing, make smart decisions on your technology and operations, make yourself scalable for new clients, new managers, new advisors, and consequently, you make yourself transferable to an acquirer down the road. I think those are keys to success in the middle RIA market.
No, I agree. And the I have one more question for you. I normally ask that one last, but I'm interested because it just came to mind. Do you think, because there's a lot of people, we started the show, I want to end the show with the idea of, you used to be in a captive model. You now are independent, and truly independent, not the definition as we said, which you and I would love to have you back someday. We could probably have an hour show on the definition of independence,
Right.
that the industry screws up. But do you think, should people who want to go independent in today's marketplace be scared? Is it harder today? Is it easier today than when you did it? Would you do it again?
I think it could be, look, the choices are more varied, right? So that could make it a little bit more complicated. When you look at all the different tech stacks out there, it's enormous. And
Yeah.
yes, you could make the first decision could be the biggest mistake. But if you connect with the right people, like for instance, Wagon has, your group has a great system and approach to helping people sort through a lot of those decisions, or just spend the time. Usually people going independent are doing it in a hurry. If you plan it out and you take the time, we took 2 years to pick a custodian. So, if you have the time, plan it out, you absolutely should go independent. You're creating value in your business, for your employees, for your customers, and a legacy for your clients. So to me, there's no question. It's much smarter today to go independent. There's plenty of opportunities to figure that technology stack out and how to structure yourself. And there's a lot of firms out there that can help. Just be diligent and don't be in a hurry.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Todd, we get a lot of requests when we have guests on the show. People want to reach out and talk to our guests. What's the best way for those who listened or viewed this podcast to reach out to you to connect?
They could just drop me an email anytime, Todd at MGAwealth.com, or I'll always pick up my cell, 954-599-5921. I'm always available.
We've done a lot of these. You're the first person to ever give out their cell phone number. So let's see how that
That's the
goes.
world we live in now, Jay.
Let's see how that goes. Let's see how that goes. Well, I can't thank you enough, Todd. I would love to do this for hours. I hope you'd agree to come back and do a future episode.
Anytime. I'd love to.
Well, thanks for watching today. Visit Investopedia.com. Thanks for their partnership. They're doing great things in the content space. We'll look forward to seeing you next time on The Deep Dive.